First day of climbing in this year's Vuelta. We've had some ramps, we've had some altitude gain, but nothing like stage 4, Pico Valhuejas, our destination, and busy right from the very start. 2 mean mountains tests almost straight out of the back door, a wide open plateau, and then the hell of our destination. With ramps of 20% at the end, this was always going to be a challenge to everyone, including the GC players. And so with trepidation it was that we got ourselves ready for what was to be an intense day, not least because of the heat, which nudged up towards 40 Celsius. It was hot, and so was the action to be in the breakaway. Well, the opening climbing day proper of La Vuelta is often taken by a breakaway, has been on 3 out of the last 5 years. Well, today we had a busy break. They looked effective with Amarai, Monique, Zana, Bisgarra and Castrillo. It was all being controlled, of course, by Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe, with Primoz Roglic, 3 times a winner of this race, starting off as the pre-day favourite. Would they get there? And who would be in the mountains jersey by the end of the day? Well, there was a lot to battle for out there, quite frankly. In the end, Monique it was that took the honours of the polka dots. But this man, Bruno Amarai, after going through the intermediate sprint for those honours, leaving some vital points up for grabs to be duked out by those battling for green, Amarai decided to push on to the very last. Behind him, the battle raging at that sprint, Wout van Aert and of course Caden Groves. Groves getting the line right this time by at the intermediate, and indeed closes the gap overall in the green jersey competition, something that's still owned by Wout van Aert. He wouldn't own red at the end of the day, however. The last 6 kilometres, the transition onto a concrete path, was certainly something that was going to be a challenge. You had to be in a good position. Our breakaway were inevitably doomed. The gap, which had nudged up towards 3.5 minutes, down to a handful of seconds as we hit the ridges of the concrete surface that really were to be almost like being on a rack. Gradients of up to 20% were a super challenge, and indeed so it turned out to be for just about everyone. UAE Team Emirates set their stall out early. Pavel Sivakov decided to just push on, trying to shake off Primoz Roglic, who just set his own tempo. The best did exactly the same, but this was a thinning down process. Richard Carapaz, who was part of the chase party here for Evenepoel Easy Post, just one of the big names who found this quite a challenge. Sepp Kuss, likewise, who'd done a good job to keep himself in a reasonable position, but slowly and surely this was a battle of attrition amongst those who would bid for the title. We had some surprises up here as well. Felix Gall, one of those for Decathlon AG Tour Le Mondial. He perhaps bravest of all. Well, sometimes bravery, when it's on display, is maybe just a little bit of showboating. He's a serious contender, the Austrian, but would he have enough to take the day? Well, as we just went towards the 2.5 kilometres to go marker, and indeed amongst the steepest ramps that we were dealing with, it was a very special group that went off the front. Well, joining them was Enric Mas, and lurking a little bit further behind was Mikel Landa, who, in that never say die attitude of his. Mathieu Riccitello, the American for Israel Premier Tech, showing great guts as well to be up here. Lenny van Eetvelt as well for Lotto Destiny. Kuss started to falter. He was amongst some very big names that did precisely that, and the battles raged. Landa, who'd bridged over, decided to attack at the very last, going into that gap. Lenny van Eetvelt thought he'd won it, but in his wheel was Primoz Roglic. Never celebrate too early. Primoz Roglic has a habit of coming under a raised arm, and that's precisely what he did. Unbelievable. Primoz Roglic gets there once again. His never say die attitude. He drives to the line. There are very few moments where he takes his handles off the bars. Super work by him. Van Eetvelt turning celebration into dismay. Roglic takes it, same time as Van Eetvelt, Almeida, Mas, Gall, Riccitello, Landa as well. Tiberi distanced by 18 seconds, Bennett and Sivakov up there as well. What a stage winner. That familiar celebration that he offers us up whenever success comes his way. Primož Roglic leads this race by a margin of 8 seconds from Charles Almeida. Mas, Tiberi, Van Eetvelt vaults into 5th place and Landa up to 9th. But once that red jersey is on the shoulders of Primož Roglic, it's very difficult to take off him. Tomorrow should be one for the sprinters, so the GC may well be set, at least for a couple of days. Big bonus seconds up for grabs towards the very end in the intermediate sprint, plus of course get more points at the line itself. It's going to be for the fast men, but now we know what the mountains offer.